Hi there, I have a very massive haul and I'm just going to show it, and yeah, let's run through it quickly because the light is going. These are all books I've acquired in the past, let's say, month. Most of them acquired last week when I went out for that warehouse visit I mentioned, and yeah, let's go through them. The first one is The End of the Affair by Graham Greene. This is in this Centennial Penguin Classic Edition, and yeah, I had heard little about Grain, but I got it regardless because I really like this cover. I really like this cartoon, this, I don't know, drawn cover, whatever it is. Really fascinated by it, and it's a relatively short read, so I think something to get me into Graham Greene. Next book I got was On Chesil Beach by Ian McEwan, in this very indie type of cover. Yeah, he's the famous author of the very famous Atonement, which I own back there. And yes, I got this because I heard someone on here mention how really good this was, and it's also relatively short. So after ignoring it at the bookish stands for a week and I saw the video on here, I went back to get it. So yeah. Next one I have already read. I read it last month and it's a classic. It's Adolphe by Benjamin Constant, translated from the French by, sorry, I cannot see the translator's name, but it's translated from the French by Leonard Tancock. Yes, Leonard Tancock. And this is a book that looks at a young man who has just graduated university, and he goes to this small town, and he's a like loner type, very socially awkward, but then he gets into this very torrid affair with the mistress of one of the renowned men of the town. She had been with the man for 10 years, but he gets into an affair with her, and it's how it's just like upgrades both of their lives. And I loved this little book so much. Very punchy to the heart and very affecting. It's more of a book that is concerned with telling as opposed to many descriptions, and yeah, very short, classic. I really liked it. And the final book from this set is the one I am most happy to have seen, because I have not seen it anywhere since it was released back in 2023 in Nigeria, and this is like maybe the book I'm most happy to own from this list, and it's The Exchange by John Grisham. This is the sequel to the very famous novel The Firm, which was Grisham's second novel and which I have read twice, and which is also one of my favorite books of all time. And yes, I started with that genre before I eventually fell into like the lit fic scene, but I do try to read like a Grisham every year. I think I have actually kept that tradition since 2020 or 2021. I've read like at least one John Grisham every year, so was very happy to see this, and I quickly snagged it because it was really cheap, and the cover, I don't know, this pop of colors, really like it. So yeah, these two, they are kind of torn, but I was given as like, I took them because they were going to be thrown out, and since I could not really get like I did not have too much to spare towards new books because I was rather shopping for people, I got this 1984 copy by George Orwell and this Kill a Mockingbird copy, because when they were throwing it out I was like, I could take this, like then when I get more in, when I have more in the future, I can buy better copies. After all, is it not the story I'm here for? So these are two notable classic works. I'm really more of like a classic person, like when it comes to buying books, because most of the things I want I cannot afford when I see them, so I can afford these classics. So yeah, I took these torn ones and I read Animal Farm in March, at the end of March. Loved it, cannot wait to get to this, which people say is better, and one of the most famous American classic works, and yeah, I cannot wait to read this as well. This one was actually supposed to be for a customer, but then they did not end up buying it, so I just kept it, and it's John Paul Sartre's The Age of Reason, I think. Yeah, The Age of Reason. And yes, I used to own Nausea, but not anymore, because that's the one I usually hear of more when it comes to Sartre, and it's the one I want to read. But then I saw this one, I'd never seen it before. I don't know, it's not the cover, but I'd never seen it before, so I got it. And these four I kind of got on the same day, and the first one here is Nikolai Gogol's The Overcoat. It's in these Dover editions. It's The Overcoat and Other Short Stories. And I've never read any Gogol, but an acquaintance recommended The Nose to me, which I actually saw on here, so very excited about that. It was written in 1832. So yeah, he's a Russian author, one of the Russian classic writers, and since I've done Tolstoy, I'm slowly trying to make my way through them. So yeah. Next, I got back another edition of The Plague because I used to own one, and it's The Plague by Albert Camus. Yes, so I own one which I sold out before, and I was lucky to see this edition again, and it has this bookmark inside left from the previous owner, I think. So I really like it. And yes, is a I think it's a French writer. Camus is a French writer. I do want to read The Stranger first, but since this is the one I have my hands on, well, this is the one I'm going to maybe read eventually, because I really liked Animal Farm, and I heard that it was his time in the Spanish Civil War which kind of gave an eye to the writing for Animal Farm. I got Homage to Catalonia, which is kind of his non-fiction account of the time he went to report on the Civil War. I immediately snagged it because I would like to read some of his non-fiction. This is probably the second work by Orwell I own that's a personal copy, if you do not count that 1984 edition, but if you do, that's 3 works of his I own. So yeah, Homage to Catalonia. Next, I got Ninth by Elie Wiesel. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but this is one of the notable Holocaust works after things like Anne Frank. And I saw this and I was very happy to have seen it, because I've not seen a copy in a while that was not used. And The Diary of a Young Girl is one of my favorite books of all time, so I've heard this one is quite a wrecker. And yes, not even to romanticize the pain or the sadness of it, but I'm very excited to read this one because I've heard it's really, really good. The final 2 I got on my last day shopping there, and the first one is The Invention of Solitude by Paul Auster. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but yes, this Auster is quite a notable writer. He died, I think, last year or something, and I wanted to read his fiction, but I saw this and I think I jumped at it quickly before I realized that it was kind of autobiography, and it looks at grief and his loss of his father. Yeah, so I just kept it regardless, and I'm eventually going to read it. And finally, the last book on here is one I was so quick to take because I've never seen anything by this author to buy, and it's Child of God by Cormac Carthy, the author of The Road, works like Blood Meridian and No Country for Old Men. Those were where I would have wanted to start with his works, but I saw this and could not pass it up. So Child of God, it's his 3rd published work, and yeah, very happy for this. So that's kind of my massive haul on the floor there. And yes, if you are a fan of classic works, I do sell classics, so you can hit me up to inquire about them and wanting to build your own stack for yourself.